Elizabeth Esty facing the media for the first time now since announcing she will not run again for her 5th district seat. She's been criticized for protecting a former chief of staff who allegedly abused and harassed other members of her staff. Esty getting emotional today on Capitol Hill, speaking with News 8's George Colley.
I'm so sorry, and if I could turn back the clock and have none of this happen, I would, but I can't do that.
An emotional Congresswoman Elizabeth Esty stands by her decision to not seek re-election in November, but has no plans to resign before that.
I can't try to fix this so it doesn't happen to anyone else, and that's why I'm not stepping down, because I want to try to use the remaining time in Congress to get something done.
In May 2016, Esty learned about dozens of threatening text messages and phone calls made by her chief of staff, Tony Baker, to another former staffer, Anna Kane, whom he previously dated. Esty launched an internal investigation, but kept Baker on the job.
Knowing what I know now, there are lots of things I would do differently, and I would have suspended him right away. I would have gotten outside experts to conduct that investigation.
Baker was eventually fired in August, but only after traveling to the Democratic National Convention with Esty at the end of July.
You knew the facts at that point. Yeah. How was it that he ends up at that convention with you?
I think it was a whirlwind at that point. That was a mistake to do.
Esty offered and signed a non-disclosure agreement to not speak about Baker's firing, paid him a severance, and wrote a letter of recommendation that was used to get Baker a job with the gun violence prevention group Sandy Hook Promise, a group comprised of many gun and domestic violence victims.
How does he end up in that job afterwards with you knowing what you knew?
It was a mistake to give him any assistance to find a new job at all. I knew he'd be able to get another job. With 10 years experience in Washington, he didn't need my recommendation for that. He could get it one anyway. I had no power to keep him out of Washington.
Could you have kept him out of that job, though? I mean, if you'd explained to them.
You know what? I should have. I agreed to take that call, and I never should have.
When her term ends in January, Esty is unsure what the future will bring.
The work's not going to stop. My work in Congress will end at the end of this calendar year, and after that, I don't know. But there's a lot of ways to serve, and there'll be something there.
Congresswoman Esty says she hasn't given much thought as to who she could support to take over her seat this election. But one name she said that will not be in the race is her husband, Dan Esty. To watch the full interview, you can go to WTNH.com. In Washington, George Colley, News 8.